It is currently 7:30. I don't normally get up this early. I'm gonna go have a shower and then I'll get into the challenge. So, this challenge is gonna work pretty simply. I'm gonna try and replace the time that I would scroll on TikTok or watch YouTube with the reading, not like Atomic Habits or something. I just got back into reading and I really wanted to read Ready Player 2 because I read Ready Player 1 about like 3 years ago and I thought it was amazing, but I don't remember anything to do with the plot. So I thought, do you know what, I'm gonna watch something on YouTube to refresh my mind. But then I thought, why not just read the book again? So that's what I'm gonna be doing. Also, no sugar. Now, it's hard to have exactly no sugar, but I'm going to try my best to not have any. So, for example, I made a tea with sweeteners. I'm going to have 1 tea a day in the morning because I want to have a good sleep schedule, so no more caffeine throughout the day. For example, for breakfast, I've got 2 crumpets, and crumpets have sugar in them. I can't take the sugar out, and I'm not spending like 20 quid on sugarless crumpets. But it's a low sugar percentage, it isn't like a sugary food. So I'm gonna try no added sugars and just have food that isn't sugary. I've got a lot of stuff to do, I'm at uni, but if I can at least go in for a run or something, that'll be good. And my aim is to see how different I feel by the end of this week. Welcome back. It is a lot later. It's about 6 p.m. I didn't show what I ate for lunch because I ate another 2 crumpets. I couldn't go out. I didn't have enough time, so 4 crumpets it was. Also, the gym is closed today for maintenance, but I did get about 10,000 steps in, so I consider that alright. So I'm going to sit down and read for about an hour, and normally I'll just watch Netflix or go on YouTube or just scroll. I hope that I can finish a book in this week challenge. It's not that it takes me ages to read. Finishing a book is normally over a week or 2 weeks because I'll read the book religiously for like 2 days, never read it, like do something else, and then come back like 4 days later, and so it's just a bit messy. But if I'm opening my time and not using my phone as much, why not finish one? Do you know what it means? So I've just gotten to chapter 2 of this book, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's like 27 pages. This book is everything I remember. It's a dystopian sci-fi. It's just like such a warm, fun read about a world in 2044 or something, which is closer than we think now. A lot of people are living in extreme poverty, but there's this guy that in like 2014 had made this game called The Oasis. It's kind of like a virtual reality sort of thing. And it's mainstream, it's the biggest game in the world. People use it for schooling, people use it for work, that's how they earn money. But he dies, and he has about billions, hundreds of billions of pounds, but he doesn't have any relatives or friends. So he puts an Easter egg in the game and says that the first person to find it wins all of his money and his company. It's given. Especially with the Christmas music I'm blasting on the 12th of November. So I'm now 100 pages into the book and it's good. It is really good. I'm not sure how to explain it without giving spoilers, although even with some spoilers, because I've read this before, it's still amazing. So I think what I'm going to do to make my life easier, so I don't get bored by just doing one thing, is I'm going to have to do some work for a little bit, read for a little bit, work for a little bit, read for a little bit, work for a little bit. So, it is day 3. I don't know when I last filled you in or if I've even spoken to you today. I've done a bit of reading whilst I was making my fish finger sandwiches, which bang by the way. I'm just gonna carry on reading. So, I am now on page 169. The first big event happened in the book, but this book is so good. It's weird because the way that the world is built up and the complexity of it makes me think that this book has already been like 500 pages. Like, I can imagine the world perfectly. Normally when I read books and there's loads of detail, it feels like I'm in an English lesson from like GCSEs and you have to write about the weather, about everything. But this book, it just flows and it doesn't annoy me. And I find myself enjoying it a lot and I don't even get all the references. That's how you know it's good. A big part of this book is about how the world is now online. So people just stay at home and travel and go to school on this online world. And the main character in this book in real life looks at a hotel, which has now been converted into apartments. And he says something, he says, what does he say? An old rise hotel, a relic from the days when people physically travelled for business and pleasure. Now, I don't know what pleasure he's talking about, but that's one of the reasons I really like dystopian books. At least ones that try and depict the future and don't add anything like magical into it. Because it really makes you think about what the world is going to be in 20, 30 years. It doesn't seem like I read for a lot every day, and it's because I really don't. The reason that my screen time on my phone is so high is because I do stuff for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I only have 5-10 minute breaks, and so I put a video on in the background. I hardly even look at it. But I always watch these book YouTubers, and they're able to read like for 3 hours consecutively and stuff like that, and my life just isn't structured like that. But I will say that reading and eating feels really good. I'm currently 234 pages in, so I've only got like 100 pages left. What I will say is, there is a couple chapters in the middle of this book where I'm not loving it and I'm trying to get over it quickly, mainly because it makes you look at the main character and not like them for a little bit, or not like what's going on for a little bit. But as soon as that had passed, I was back in it and I was reading super fast. So that was the only clip I recorded on day 6. But as you could see, I finished the book in the morning. And I didn't read anything that day, and I didn't record anything that day because I was just having a chill at home day, doing basically nothing. If I were to rate this book out of 5 again, I think it would just still have to be 5 stars. The ending is amazing. I knew the big points that were going to happen. Like, I knew the beginning of the story. I knew the relationships between the characters, who's friends, who's not, blah, blah, blah. And I knew what the ending was going to be. But I didn't, like, even reading it again, it was just amazing. I could argue that there was a small section of the book, like 20 pages, where I wasn't too fussed about it and I wanted to get over it to get to the good stuff. But it's still a 5-star regardless. I think the concept is just a bit of me. So now I'm going to start reading Ready Player 2. So it's technically day 8, but I wanted to see how much of the book I could read at night, and I was up for several hours, and I managed to get to page 183. That is great from me, because I think I read about 120 pages yesterday. So yeah, this book wasn't great for the first like 50 to 60 pages, because the last book ended off so well that the only way to create something in this book was to kind of destroy some of the fundamentals from the last book. But now all of humanity is at stake, so it's like just had to pull that one out your pants, do you know what I mean? But now I'm determined to get to the end. So I managed to complete a full 7 days of this challenge, an average screen time every day of about an hour. The sugar thing is hard to tell. I didn't feel a lack of energy, but also it's supposed to improve your skin, because I worked in a cake shop for a little bit and I was just nomming on cakes, and my skin started to get a little bit bad, but the no sugar thing didn't seem to be helping. It's only been a week for the sugar thing. I'll just have to carry it on. But yeah, overall, challenge successful. See you later.